Welcome to Whack Comics, your home for movie reviews. And before we get into the Across the Spider-Verse review, let's dive into just a little bit of what I thought of Into the Spider-Verse. Into the Spider-Verse is not just one of the funniest movies of all time.
Hey.
Okay, then.
It's not one of the best Marvel movies of all time.
Keep sticking, mouse. Whoa.
It's not one of the best Spider-Man movies of all time.
And it's a no on the cape.
I think it's cool.
Take that off. It's disrespectful. Spider-Man doesn't wear a cape.
It is truly one of the best films ever put to screen for so many reasons, and just is completely a dynamic movie. An 11 out of 10 if there is even one, and living up to that is just something that is super hard to do. Honestly, I see this as having the charm of Back to the Future, and even kind of has the appeal and plot of Back to the Future, where they have to put people back into their original timelines. So going into Across the Spider-Verse, capturing that same feel and dynamic that Into the Spider-Verse has is really just going to be super tough.
When will I know I'm ready?
You won't.
So I just got out of Spider-Verse, and I have a lot of feelings. I'm in the car. It was truly epic in a completely different way than the first one, which really surprised me. I'm not going to do any spoilers to the end, and I'll mark when I am doing spoilers. It wasn't as witty, but it didn't try to be either. It was much more of a drama and an epic, I'd say, than the first one, which was just incredibly funny and witty and amazing. And this was just amazing in a completely different way. Honestly, I feel very thrown off because I just was not expecting what we got. The trailers gave away a good amount, but not too much, because the biggest stuff is definitely a really big fucking surprise. Honestly, I don't really know what I want to say. I don't think I want to say too much, because I think the less you know, the better this will hit. There was a lot of very, very small moments and small conversations in the movie, especially between Miles and his family, and that all was so important, and I think will be so important. So the animation style, especially Gwen's universe, was fucking next level. As gorgeous as the first one is, there are moments where I don't think animation could ever look this good. And they just really nailed all the different types of universes and jumping into them, and then just obviously like the first one where the different spider people are animated differently. They absolutely nailed it. I look forward to more Sony animation, and I'd love to see them utilize some of the animation styles that they used in this movie in other movies for like a full-length film. Because wow, it is next level gorgeous. Alright, so I think that's about all I want to say before spoilers. I'm personally just a non-spoiler person. I don't want any spoilers at all, even like the smallest hints. So I don't want to give anything away. I will say, before I transition to spoilers, there are no post-credit scenes. I didn't sit through the whole post-credits because I always look at the end on Twitter to see, is this worth waiting for? And I just saw like tons of people say there's no post-credit scene. But I'm going to get into that immediately. 5 seconds, spoilers. Alright. So, spoilers. I loved Miguel O'Hara. He was so fucking badass. I expected that there was just going to be like a disagreement, and that he wasn't actually going to be a bad guy, but he almost seemed like a little more sinister than I expected. And I still don't really see him as a bad guy. So I will say I was surprised that we were kind of kept in the dark as in the audience as what exactly was happening for a very, very extended part of this movie. And because we were kept in the dark, it didn't really feel like the flow of the movie was as strong. And that's what hurt it for me the most, is that we were getting a lot of small moments and we were getting little scenes, but we just weren't really sure where the movie was going, really, like until he got to the Spider-Verse place. And then a lot happened. And that's, I mean, well into the movie. Well, what? I don't know exactly. I don't look at my phone, but I'm assuming that's at least an hour plus in, maybe hour 15. So just to kind of be kept in the dark. And then even after that, the movie doesn't really get going, not in a bad way, but I would say kick into gear until he goes back to the other dimension. I mean, and that's the end of the movie. So this is truly a part 1 of 2 or whatever. Like, this has, I referenced Back to the Future earlier. This really has all of the inklings of Back to the Future Part 2. Because it ends on a complete cliffhanger. Like, it doesn't really have an ending. And it didn't hurt that for me. Like, this has to be like the most disappointing I felt at the end of a movie. But I wasn't disappointed in the movie. I was disappointed because it ended. I felt like at maybe my highest high of the whole movie at the end of the movie. So that's a good thing, but I'm just ready for it to fucking keep going. Peter B. Parker, like I said earlier, there's not a lot of comedy, or maybe just not as much. And it feels like such a serious movie. When he comes into the movie, it really added the levity that I think the movie needed, or maybe not even needed, but just it felt familiar. It felt familiar because of the first one. So I really liked when Peter B. Parker was back in the movie. Mayday is adorable. The Spot, like, initially, the Spot is just like this hilarious character. And I don't know who voices him. I'm going to look that up. But I absolutely loved all the voice acting in this movie. And he was amazing. And then by the end of the movie, he's like fucking terrifying and looks terrifying. I'm like, Jesus, man, don't fucking hold back here. That shit was crazy. So I guess probably the biggest thing is that Miles was never supposed to get bit, which makes sense. Like, I feel like I should have already known that or put that together, but that spider was from another dimension because of the Spot, like, had put it in the dimension. He was from 42, and Miles is not from Earth 42, so that spider that bites him, it was just never supposed to happen. It was supposed to happen in Earth 42. And so when he goes and travels back to his dimension, the machine reads him as Earth 42, which is not his dimension, so he goes into the wrong dimension, and that's essentially how the movie ends. I mean, fuck, I was just not expecting that. That shit was dope. And another Miles being the Prowler with Uncle Aaron there, and his dad had died in this Earth 42. I am so pumped for the next one. I mean, that shit was amazing. And like I said, it's amazing for a completely different reason than the first one, which was just constant comedy. Such a good like coming of age story, growing up, becoming Spider-Man, him coming into himself. And this is just like kind of a serious fucking movie. And I love Spider-Man India. I love the little cameos, like what's his name? the Prowler from Spider-Man Homecoming, Donald Glover. There was a lot of great cameos, and we did get to see Toby and Andrew Garfield. I don't think we saw Tom Holland. There was a lot going on in that movie. I tell you, this is the details in the background. Like, it wasn't like they were doing all those details just to have details. It feels like it was meticulously done by a team that cared. Like, this just feels like a different movie than the Marvel movies we're getting today that feel produced by a robot. This feels like it's done by fans who care about the product, and I feel it and see it. The theater I was in like 3 p.m. my time. Not a lot of people are able to go at that time, and it was probably half sold out in the biggest theater where I go. And it was really an electric feeling through the theater. Like, anytime something funny did happen, everyone laughed. I heard gasps. I heard people clap. It was very, very good to be in a theater with that kind of atmosphere. Like, that is what I love about a theater. Like, no one was loud. There was probably 12 kids sitting together a few rows behind me. I never heard them one time. Like, I'd say littler kids. I don't know how old they were, maybe 10 years old, but Jesus, they were engaged. I heard them laughing, and it was just a great time. This is a movie you have to see in theaters, and I think you have to see it as soon as you can too. The colors, the use of the art, like, it feels like you're watching art. Especially that opening. That shit was Spider-Gwen, the opening. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot more to say, but that's just my take. Out of the movie theater, on the way home, literally just got out. I can't wait to see it again. I don't think I was planning on seeing it again soon, but I might go see it again this weekend with Lisa. We'll see. I'm beyond fucking amped, and I cannot wait for the next one. However long we have to wait for the next one, that is going to be a long fucking time. Like, just, even if it was like 3 months, I'd be just on the edge of my seat for 3 months waiting for this fucking movie, because that shit was next level. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you, let me know what you thought of the movie. It'd be nice if you didn't spoil it below, but I think when you're in the comment section of a movie review, you risk it when you go down to read. So thanks everybody for watching.